Hey guys, this is David, Sick and Near Me Comics. How you guys doing? Alright, I wanted to do this video for a while and finally have some time of my own to make this video. So I hope it won't be too long. I hope I won't get sidetracked. Let's get into this. Alright, now when it comes to variant, the word variant means it's an alternative. It's an alternative to original, right? So you have a book, but it will come with two different type of covers. So that two different covers might actually be something that you might want. Like for instance, is that Supergirl. You have the regular cover, then you have the art germ. Everybody gravitates towards art germ. Why? Because it's an art germ. He makes beautiful covers, art. And just how it is. All right, now people are talking that the 90s are repeating itself. In a way it is that there's a lot of variants out there. Are we oversaturated variant? Maybe that's why we don't see those $1,000 variants anymore, like the way how Marvel has produced in the early 2000, not maybe early 2000, but like in 2012s, or you won't get those ASM 667 1 out of 50 Delato. You won't find those ASM 678 that Joe Crescetta, that 1 out of 50, that Mary Jane Venom. You probably won't find what is that, a Wonder Woman 38, that David Finch, that 1 out of 100 incentive variant. Those type of thing is really hard to come by nowadays because everybody's doing variant. Now you got alternative because you got store variants. You get Midtown Comics doing variants. You got Frankie's, you got Unknown Comic, you get 789, you got Jetpack. You got Scorpion Comic, you got Scouts Comic. I mean, you got so many other, like the one you see in front of you is Awesome Planet Collectibles. They also are part of the Instagram, is one of the Instagrammer that has his own comic that has an exclusive, like the one you see in front of you. So there's, yeah, you can say it is oversaturated, but is it bad for the market? It will, only time can tell, but right now the market is healthy. How you can tell the market is healthy is that because people are spending money. You can tell because when you have a book, a new releases that has not been released, but is selling for $10, $15, $20, and people are paying that type of premium before it actually get released. Now that is considered as a healthy market, because there might be some hurt because of the low, I guess you can call it, the low sales on certain books. It's all because things has evolved. Now you got digital. Now you got other alternative way of getting or reading that book. Maybe some people just like to wait until the trade comes out. So there's a many. How you said, a formula you need to look into before you say no, the 90s is going to be and the bubble will pop and this comic book industry is going to suffer again. I don't think so, because we have such a strong medium like TV, movies, you got web series, you got Netflix and all those type of things that makes the collecting a little bit more stronger than how it was before. So I wouldn't worry because I don't think 90 is ever going to come back. But it's in every cycle, it has its repeats, but has a bit of a different result to it. Now, I don't think, like I said, going back, is market is healthy. I like the way this becoming more of like a pop culture, because now this comic book collecting is not for kids anymore. It's more for young adults and for adults who has been collecting comic books ever since they were a kid. So now there's collector that has a little bit more um, I guess you could say more resources when it comes to the income. There's a little bit more for them to spend. I mean, come on, what 13-15-year-old kid's gonna be spending $200-300 on a comic book, or to be sending out books to CGC to get those books graded? I can tell you right now, unless your father is a million billionaire, not many. So with that, the market is good. All right, so variants. There's all different type of variants. Like I said, do not be afraid of variants. But what you need to be careful is, how do you spend that money on that variant is the key. Just like any other comic book. Like if you're into Silver Age book, you're not going to get all the Silver Age book out there because it's going to cost you arm and a leg. And the only reason that the older book costs a little bit more than the modern age, because they're just old. You know, it's like you're paying extra for old wine, but you're not going to spend $1,000 for any type of a wine. There's that specific wine, just like any other collecting, like comic book, even on variant. So just be careful. Let me just show you one book over here as well. You know, not all variants gonna make you money. Not all variants that's gonna be worth, you know, hundreds or $200 or $300. You know, some people say, oh yeah, 9.8, yeah, you can get that for $80. But guess what? Pretty much all 9.8, you send it to CGC, you get a 9.8, which even though if it's a junk book or shit book or whatever you want to call it, that has absolutely no value to it, you get a 9.8. That book is already what? You invested $20 on a 9.8, which is a high grade. That's a $50 book, maybe $40. So if you want to flip it, make sure you get your money back. But what I'm saying is, just because it's a 9.8 doesn't mean anything. But if you want to get a 9.8 in a specific, like a key issue, or like this top variant, like what you see in front of you, like this Wonder Woman 614, 9.8 in this, you can get at least a good chunk of cash for this. Just raw itself in a very fine plus, you're looking at about $100 to $150. All right, this is Wonder Woman 614, last of its run, last issue of that run. It has little less than about 600 of these that were actually printed. I don't know how many more. I don't know how many actually made into the market, but who's going to order 15 copies of Wonder Woman 614 at the time? Not many, I can tell you that. So it has a beautiful cover done by awesome artist Alex Gardner, and also the last issue happens to, every last issue you have, they're low printed, and especially when they make an incentive, it's going to be much lower. So do your research, guys. Don't just jump on the don't jump on anything that it comes out because, oh my god, this so and so. Maybe you might have missed a boat, but guess what? All the money that you have saved for not getting those books from before, you can actually pay the premium to get that book for your PC. And if you're lucky enough to get the book in a cheap, or when it first came out, and somehow because of some spec play that just has the right chemistry, that blows up. Look at Thanos 13, that one of the 25 Albuquerque variant. When it first came out, that was like a $45-50 book. Now it's about $135-150 book, because of the speculation, and because of CBSI has mentioned about Cosmic Ghost Rider could be Wade Wilson, Deadpool, or it could be an alternative universe Spider-Man, or Peter Parker, that, you know, could be anything. And there's also first appearance of King Thanos. So that one has a bit of everything. Great cover, great first appearances, and we'll see how that pans out. So those kind of thing is just one out of so many of thousands of books that was released on that week, or matter of fact, for that month. So do not be afraid to collect variants, because variants is healthy. I love variants, right? There's so many variants out there. I just want to show you some other variants. I'm sure when this first came out, Ultimate Fallout, one of the 25, you know, Marko Djurkovic, connecting variant. Nobody really thought that this was gonna worth anything. This was actually, when you first count 9.8, you could have gotten this for less than $100 or maybe $120, right? This came out in 2011. One of the you know great writers with Michael Bendis and also Jonathan Hickman. You got great artists, of course Marco Djurkovic, and inside art you got Creighton Crane with Sarah Pacelli and La Corla. So anyway, so Miles Morales, everybody thought like, who is this Black Spider-Man? Well, guess what? Nobody planned it, and when it first came out, like I said, you could have gotten this for like 30, 40, 50 bucks. Now on a raw, nobody speculated it. It was just the first appearance of a new Spider-Man. Not everybody knew about it. So do your research. Not all variants, well, not all comic books gonna make that kind of money, but since we're talking about variant, not all variants gonna send your kids to college. All right, but pick and choose what you guys want. Watch a lot of YouTube videos. Read and do your resources and see what the storyline is going to be. And if you don't want to pull that trigger, by all means read the comic book, for crying out loud, and find out exactly what is in that issue that sparks that sparks that fire, that sparks it to have that book go in value. Find out if it's a low print. Find out what the print run is going to be. Find out if it's been sold out on Diamond Distribution. Why is it being sold out? Those all things put into matters. So everybody says like, yeah, no, variants is not it. I like to collect Silver Age. By all means, I love Silver Age. I love Bronze Age. I like anything that is key issue, which I'll be heavily focused this year. But just because you might not understand it, or this cannot be your type of collecting, don't be afraid. That's all I'm saying is, don't be afraid. Do that research, get it, and be happy with what you have, right? Because at the end of the day, you paying for your collection, nobody else is, unless your parents are paying for it. If that's the case, man, buy whatever you want. But if you work hard for your money, if you want to make sure that every dimes count, when you go out hunting, like Tito, Master Eggs, Walking Jedi, like the Doom and Alex, and if you can find a great book for cheap, and by all means, that is also good. But I'm just saying is, be careful what you invest in. But if you are going to invest, make sure that is the right type of collection or right type of book for you in your PC. All right. Going back again, talking about Silver Age, Bronze Age, they didn't have too many of variants. You only have one copy. Boom. We have printed 56,000 of these Hulk 181, right? Who knew that's gonna blow up? Who knew that's gonna? I think like 5 years ago you could have picked that up for a couple $100, but now in a mid-low grade you still gotta pay about $1,000. Nobody speculated that. Maybe someone did, but I can tell you, majority of the collector did not. Because why? They was just doing it for the fun or sake of reading, not putting in a bag on backboard, in a mylar, in a top loader, things like that. And the reason that Silver Age is more hard to come by, because it's just old books. They're like, what, 70 years old? Some of them is what, 60 years old? Some are 50 years old. And to get those in a high grade, in a good condition, well intact, is really hard to come by, especially on the major keys. So even on the regular just basic back issue for Silver Age, you're going to be paying $5, $10, $15, $20 depending on the condition of the book. So maybe 50, 60 years down the line, maybe the modern books that we pick up now might cost 15, 20 bucks because not many people, not many of those will be around. I don't know. Only time can tell. But what I'm saying is, just because they're old, that's the only reason why they are a little bit more sought after, because they're really hard to come by. All right. And just like any, going back again, just like any other comic book, new releases or old books, Silver Age, Platinum Age, what? There are only handful of those books that was released during those era that is considered a grail or a key or minor key. Everything else is pretty much nothing. It's just backfillers. So don't say that variants are bad, because pretty much all comic books that release, 99% of them will probably worth nothing. It's just a backfillers. It was going to be in a dollar bin soon. Maybe if Marvel decides to make a movie out of that specific character or specific storyline, maybe that might jump in price. So look at Kitty Pryde. When Marvel announced that they're doing a solo movie, that, what was that? Is that a X-Men? Was that first appearance of Kitty Pryde? That book has just went from 30-40 bucks. Now it's going up to like $100-$150. Probably on a 9.4, 9.6, you're paying probably $300 now, which back then was about $120, $130. So never know, man. Never know. When NYX3 came out in 2002, nobody knew. Who knew? That book was all about child, kids that had been cloned or what, and been sold out to child prostitution. It was a very dark and sad story, but has a happy ending towards the end, because she survived, she made it. But nobody knew that book was going to be 9.8 was going to cost about $800 to $900. When the movie came out, that 9.8 was selling for over $1,000. So like I said, man, not all books gonna be made that kind of money, but same as for variant, not all gonna be. I'm gonna keep repeating myself over and over again throughout this video. Not all variants gonna make you that money, but the variants are good because it gives you an alternative cover. It gives you an alternative artist and a different option for you to get a same book but in a different layout. All right. And also I just want to touch bases with also when it comes to second print variants. Now back then a lot of people thought that second print is like whatever, but there is a market for it, guys. Like this Captain Marvel number 17, when this came out, who knew Kamala Khan will be actually on the cover? When it did, whoever thought that it would be cost money? I didn't know, because this came back in 2014. I started collecting in 2016, I believe. So it's, yeah, second print. Now there's a market for it. Look at Sandman number 75, second printing variant. It's the same cover, but just because of the UPC says second printing, there's less. I believe there's about less than 500 or 600 of those that were printed, which was very sought after, because that happens to be also the last issue of that run. So those type of variants as well too. Be on the lookout, because why this costs so much? Because it's the first time that Kamala Khan was actually on a cover, and this happens to be the on the last panel. This is when Miss Marvel becomes Kamala Khan becomes Miss Marvel on the last panel. And this also predates All New Marvel Now, which happens to be her first full appearance as Miss Marvel. So it just has the right chemistry, you know, and is very low printed. I believe there's less than about 1,000 of these that is out there. Um, so yeah, variant is not bad. It's good for the market. It's, in my opinion, it's healthy. It gives collectors an alternative. Um, it gives them a different options to grab a different type of covers or artists for that particular book that comes out each week. DC, here's the thing. DC, when Rebirth first started back last year, they came out with cover A and cover B. Till now, they did a market where cover B, which happens to be the variant of what they consider as a variant, or what us collectors consider as a variant, has more growth as in value and a secondary market for cover B instead of cover A. So if you want to speculate on variants, there you go. If you are into some titles that you're reading in Rebirth, get cover Bs, all right? Because they're the one that actually holds its value more than the cover A, and it's a little bit more sought after because now you have Martina doing Flash, you have Artgerm doing what, Supergirl. Now you have Adam Hughes doing Batgirl, Birds of Prey. You know, those type of ingredients that goes in that makes the cover B, which happens to the variant, a little bit more sought after and has a healthier secondary market when it comes to you know, value. So don't ever diss variant because it's there for a purpose. It's not ruining the market. The market is not going to go anywhere. I see it going stronger than ever before. It has peaked and it has probably will plateau and will peak again once DC start bring out new movies, or once Captain Marvel movie comes out. You know, it's endless, and I'm sure the 90s will repeat, but it won't have the same negative effect that it would had before. All right, so I think I just wanted to just cover that in this video, and I'll go more into detail about specific books that I will show you in the later episodes. So anyway, thank you for watching all the way through, and let me know, give me a feedback on what your thoughts are in this video, and you know, anything constructive feedback I'll take, so please be honest with your comments, and thank you. And I have wasted 23 minutes of you guys' time, and I'll let you go, and until next time, aloha, mahalo, and God bless.